I'm Nico, but you can call me El Jefe. Kings of Spain.
You know then why that?
Champions of La Liga
What are
last
you
year.
talking about, Nico? It's Olympiacos.
The second-
Olympiacos. Nico,
I have never seen
if
Raúl
you
so
are
scared in my life.
everything about La Liga and Champions League.
This is my year. Lamine Yamal, Kylian Mbappé. Vamos!
Hi, and welcome along to a game of two halves over here on DR Sports. What a show we've got for you today, because it has been a weekend of shocks, honestly, and it's not even Halloween yet. Joining me, that's a good one, wasn't it? Joining me, we've got Mark Goldbridge, and trust me, Mark, I didn't work on that. That just literally
come natural at our age.
Yeah, natural. But Mark, how you doing?
Well, to add to that, I think Christmas has come early for me and you, Arsenal and Man United, and Halloween's come early for Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea. And if Carling were doing weekends, or whoever it is, I don't think it was Carling, I think it was Carlsberg, that's about as good as it gets. Can't complain with that at all. And it's slightly better for Arsenal, of course, but what a weekend, yeah. Brilliant.
Incredible weekend. I think we saw this weekend, right, why the Premier League is such an exciting league. I mean, these things can happen in this league because there are a lot of evenly matched teams, and there are teams that can find ways to beat you. But wow, what a weekend. Let's start off, first of all, with Arsenal's game yesterday. Arsenal winning the game by 1-0. Not the most memorable game in the world, I can tell you that. It was a pretty boring game. Crystal Palace do make it really, really difficult for you. But Arsenal winning 1-0, and it was the old boy Eze against his old team scoring a brilliant goal. And Arsenal then doing what Arsenal have been doing this season, keeping yet another clean sheet and go top of the league. Yeah,
it's funny because I was doing a watch along yesterday because I thought the 2:00 games were good, and they were good. I mean, they were all good this weekend. But literally in the live chat, you have it on yours as well. People go, Eze's so mid. Eze's not the player. Eze's this. Eze's not all that. Bang. And it was just literally people were doing it as that happened. And I was like, yeah, this modern obsession with like writing players off like really quickly is going to bite people in the back consistently, because he's been a fantastic player for Arsenal. And obviously Palace were very sad to see him go. But I think, again, look, football's a bit weird at the moment. There are teams using tactics, as I said last week, that are a little bit Stoke, a little bit Wimbledon. But they are, you've got to use things in your Arsenal, pardon the pun, to get results. And when I look at Arsenal, people criticise it's another set piece, comes from a set piece, but they've only conceded 3 goals in 9 games, which is, they're going to be pushing Chelsea 04-05 for the defensive record. They take such pride in it. And I don't think they've had a shot on target in 2 games either. So, yeah, we can talk about Arsenal not scoring goals, but another team roll up to the Emirates, park the bus because they're terrified of opening up, and they pay the price that if you don't get a 0-0, you're not getting anything. No one's trying to beat Arsenal. They're just trying to get a 0-0. So maybe we need to reflect that to other teams, because it's not like people think Gyökeres is going to score a hat-trick every game. You're going to score a hat-trick with 9 defenders around him. Like, you're going to need a set piece. So I think people need to wake up to the fact that Arsenal are playing immaculately in the circumstances in front of them. And, Pep Guardiola can't open teams up when they're parking the bus like that. And, at the moment, as I said to you before the start of the video, the question is, when are Arsenal going to lose a game and who's going to challenge Arsenal? Because it's a long way to say they've won the title, but at the moment, they look unstoppable.
Yeah, they're looking good at the moment. I think what was also significant yesterday was the fact that, again, we saw players go off injured. So, Saliba comes off. And as I said, normally that's alarm bells over the past couple of seasons when that happens. And Mosquera just comes in and just does exactly the same what he was doing. You can bring on, your Mars Lewis Skelly. He played during the week and was brilliant instead of Calafiori. Declan Rice came off yesterday with a little knock. They were able to then bring on Marino. Saka wasn't having a great game. But then, Martinelli comes on. So it's that squad depth at the moment. And remember, Arsenal still got a lot of players to return from injury. Players like Madueke, Havertz, these guys that have hardly even figured this season. They are looking strong.
Ben White can't get a look in, can he? He'd start for those Premier League clubs.
Yeah, Ben White. Ben White, who was like a staple at Arsenal for the last few seasons, can't get it looking like you said. So at the moment, it's looking good. But listen, there will be big tests ahead. But I think that was a big win for Arsenal yesterday in context of what happened over the weekend. And, the Palace are a good side. I know they've now lost the last couple of games, but they're good. You can see it in them. But they really did nullify them. Let's take a look at some of the shocks that have gone on this weekend. And then, of course, we're going to have a look at United because that's a real beneficiary from these shocks, right? To look at the shocks, we're going to start with the first one, which happened yesterday. Manchester City going to Aston Villa. Now, it's not an easy game. No. Villa are a good side. I think Villa beat them last year there as well.
Yeah.
But Manchester City losing that game by 1-0. That's a big blow to them, especially with Liverpool slipping up. And City, I think that's 3 defeats now this season. I mean, unheard of in previous seasons. And Villa, very good winners as well. Great goal by Matty Cash, who's had a good couple of weeks. And Villa, I think 5 in a row for them now. They've really hit a streak of form, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think, look, we on win, lose or draw on Friday, neither of us went with a City win. But I thought yesterday morning, you know what? Have we missed a trick there? Because Villa played Thursday night away and lost. Man City played Champions League away on Tuesday. So Man City, a bigger break. That's, you'd think they'd come in fresh. But I was sort of watching Multiview on Sky, which I've never done before. And it actually was quite good with all 4 games. Whilst watching the Arsenal game. And at no point, Haaland had a couple of chances, but so did Villa. Villa were good for at least a draw there and deserved the win. And again, I sort of look at Man City and I thought over the last few weeks, they might be the team that, get back in gear and push Arsenal if they can get back where they were a couple of years ago. But looking at them yesterday, that's 3 losses in 9. So they're losing 1 game every 3. And they didn't really put up a performance that you'd expect from a team that's looking to challenge for the title. So they've got Liverpool in 2 weeks, which is another great fixture for Arsenal. Yeah. And they're very reliant on Haaland. I've heard a few people, I've not watched loads of City, and a few people have said, you take Haaland out of that team, they've got problems. Well, Villa took Haaland out of the team because he didn't score, and they didn't have much of an answer. So, Villa are on a good run as well. Deserved win, deserved win for Villa.
Yeah, it's as if with City, like you said, what you have to do. It's doing it. It's stopping Haaland because he's such an unbelievable player. But if you can stop him, they don't have like you said, the threats that they usually have over the last few seasons.
They miss De Bruyne and Rodri, don't they, really? Yeah,
they do. And, they look like a team as well that can be got at. You can get at them. I think teams realise that. I think where over the seasons, they've always had the fear factor. At the moment, it's sort of Arsenal have got that fear factor.
Yeah.
Whereas with City, there are teams that are like, listen, obviously we fear them, we fear Haaland, but we're going to get some chances. And we know that so many teams are playing on the counter-attack now. But like you said, Villa were on their case for a lot of the game.
Yeah. And I think you're right, you're spot on. That Man City, for me, were always a juggernaut. And you thought, when are they going to stop? But last season, so many teams beat them that they lost that air of authority. And it's carried on this year. Teams, they've lost to Brighton, they've lost to Spurs, they've lost to Villa. These are not traditional top 4 clubs. They've still got to play the Liverpools. Obviously Arsenal got a draw out of them. But yeah, I think for City at the moment, you'd say their focus has got to be trying to win something in top 4. But the league they don't look like league champions to me this year at the moment.
Yeah, although we know we can't write them off. But what about Liverpool? They now, another defeat for them. This time away at Brentford. I remember last year Brentford giving them a tough game as well. And remember, it's Darwin Núñez right at the end who got them that winner. But this game was different. Brentford on top for a lot of this game, deploying, as we spoke about it over on your channel. We said that this wouldn't be easy for Liverpool, right? Because we know that Brentford have got different type of weapons. The long throw, the coyote throw, that's starting to look Rory Delapes, I'm telling you. Yeah. And the big Igor Thiago up front, and Damsgaard playing brilliantly as well, and beating Liverpool by 3-2. 3-2 flattered Liverpool. Brilliant goal by Salah, by the way. One of the best goals I've seen this season. We're not even talking about it because of how well that Brentford did, and Liverpool's defence, which was brilliant last season, is looking all over the place, and teams know it. 4 defeats now in a row. The manager seems to be losing the plot a bit in some of his press conferences. I mean, the one I saw the other day before the game, where he was talking about how teams, you know, we played teams and the ball's hardly been on the floor. And, you know, it was almost as if you're saying to Brentford, yeah, come and do what you do because we don't like it. Right? Mm-hmm. And Brentford said, yeah, actually, we're going to do exactly that. And that was an emphatic win. 3-2 flattered them. I mean, also where they got all these added minutes on, right? In that game, I don't know. But Brentford held on for a historic win.
Yeah, I think, well, it's not hard to go to Brentford and win, as United know, and it made me feel better in many ways because that Brentford result was a nightmare, but seeing them do it to Liverpool as well sort of makes you feel slightly better. And then them doing it to Liverpool means that Man United are ahead of them. But on Liverpool, I think he's making some weird decisions, Arne Slot. Like, I know Andy Robertson might not be able to play 2 games in a week, but Kirkes has been a nightmare this season. Brilliant at Bournemouth last year, but he's at fault for the goal. I know he scored a goal, but he's a nightmare down the left-hand side. You know, they're struggling for consistency and points. He's a leader. I'd get him in the team, Andy Robertson. It's weird to me. But they didn't play well anyway. And, you know, Brentford's game plan worked superbly. Liverpool should have known that game plan was coming. And again, you sort of look at it and go, that's another loss. Liverpool are really consistent. I've watched a lot of games this season. They're really consistent. Like, they're not very good. Like Burnley away. They got a last-minute penalty. Newcastle against 10 men, they were the worst team, and they got a really good last-minute winner. They've played, you know, against Arsenal. It was a worldie from Szoboszlai. That should have been a point for Arsenal, really. So they've been lucky with points, and maybe they've been a little bit unlucky with some of the losses. But I think they are where they deserve to be. You know, I think they've won 5, lost 4, or something like that. They're very consistently poor. They're not playing well. And their next 2 games are Villa and Man City. So I don't think the rut is over because you've got to start playing well in this league, and they're not playing well. And that's the big problem. There's we could spend an hour talking about why they're not playing well, but they're not. And Slot can't just moan about people playing long ball because they're going to keep doing it. So they're in big problems, Liverpool now. And I said last week, I don't think they can win the league. I know you're not going to agree with me, but I don't see Liverpool winning the league this year. They remind me of Man City last year when they were the title holders and they just fell apart. And maybe sometimes when you've won the league, then you don't go and win it again. You do struggle to do it. And Liverpool are really struggling at the moment, massively. Yeah. I mean, where was Isak at the weekend? Injured again? I don't know. Yeah,
but this is the big shock, Mark, right? Is that they won the league quite easily last year. Then have gone out and invested big time to go and win everything.
Yeah.
And have got worse. I mean, it's very alarming if you're a Liverpool fan because, you know, at the start of the season, every Liverpool fan was like so optimistic because, you know, Wirtz, Isak, Ekitike, Kirkes, you know what I mean? Frimpong, exciting signings. Only Ekitike's worked so far. The rest have been poor. And those next 2 games you talk about, it's almost like those are must wins. If they can win those 2 games, they're back on track. If they lose even one of those, and Villa away is going to be... Is that away, Villa?
No, it's Villa at home and then City away. So City away is tough. Yeah. Villa will do well against
even Villa at home is not an easy game. I mean, like, they've got some real soul searching to do. It's tough times for them. The other shock at the weekend was Chelsea losing at home to Sunderland.
Worst of the lot, I think.
I mean, Sunderland, by the way. I mean, let me just say, right? 3 teams that I'm going to look at. I need to just give a special mention. 1, Sunderland. We're going to talk about them right now because what a start to the season! Absolutely amazing. A lot of people thought they were going down. Brentford, who we just mentioned, Keith Andrews. Oh my God, what he's done! Everybody at the start of the season said with the players they've lost their manager, they've lost their captain, they've lost literally all their best players, right? And Buemo, you know, they're done. This guy, inexperienced manager, amazing job he's done. And Bournemouth, we'll get to them, another team that lost Kirkes lost all their best players and are still performing amazing. I mean, some of these managers, they really deserve some big plaudits. But Sunderland, this is probably one of the biggest shocks of the weekend. Chelsea at home, beating them by 2-1, a last-minute winner. It was limbs in the away end by the Sunderland fans. Chelsea, again, another inconsistent team.
Yeah, I mean, they got the good start, didn't they? I mean, you know, I was sort of thinking, here we go. It's going to be one of those weekends. Garnacho scores. He sits on this advertising hordes, and you think, you arrogant little shit. And then you're like, it's not going to be a great weekend. And then I sort of like, I was doing some stuff around the house, and then I had the goal alerts on my phone. I was like, oh, 1-1. I'll take that. And then setting up for the United game, and it goes 2-1 to Sunderland. I thought, you know what? They're the worst team we played. And I've only watched Sunderland play once. And a Sunderland fan messaged and said, we were missing a couple of players, and a couple of players had bad games. We didn't play well against you. I was like, I hope so, because otherwise we're amazing, because we made you look really bad. But what a start to the season for Sunderland. I mean, they're probably staying up already. When you think about 17 points from 9 games, they're probably only going to need 35 looking at everybody else. So they're well on the way, but they could do better than that. They've got to reach for the stars, of course. But Chelsea, a little bit like Liverpool, a little bit like Man City, you could say it's worse than all of them, because they're at home to Sunderland, where they'd expect to win. At least Liverpool and Man City were away, and Chelsea have got to sort of play catch up a little bit, and they're losing silly games again. Like, they're dropping silly points again. And I don't know. I just think with Chelsea, I don't know about you, Robbie. I think with Chelsea, their issue is they just buy all these young players. And if you're always going for young players, when are you ever going to have experience to win these sort of games? I think they're always looking to buy young players. And I've always said, since Thiago Silva left, where's the experience in that team that you need in these sort of games? And I think that's Chelsea's problem. They're always about tomorrow and not today. Yeah,
Mark, I was having an argument I was over in Egypt at the weekend, and I was having an argument over there with a Chelsea fan. He was telling me they're going to win the league. This was on Friday, by the way, right? And I looked for him on the Saturday, and he was feeling very down. But one of the things I said to him, why you won't win the league is too many young players. You've got no experience in there. Where's your John Terry? Where you, like you said, Thiago Silva's, these type of guys. And you saw with that final goal, the defending was terrible. Just one long punt up front. The Sunderland attacker, I think it was Robbie, just held the ball up brilliantly, waited for the other players to. I mean, where were the Chelsea players tracking him? And what a win for Sunderland! What an amazing win for them. They showed a lot of fight. They came from 1-0 down away from home. That was fantastic.
Did such a good job. I mean, like you say, the fight and camaraderie and team spirit is, you know, especially when you go 1-0 down against a team where you're expected to lose, to stay in the game mentally. Yeah, they're well equipped, and you know, just have to see what they do. They're just doing really, really well.
Yeah, brilliant win for them. And we all know at home they're very good. If they're getting away wins, I mean, they are going to stay up. What a weekend for Manchester United. We wondered, could Manchester United do it again? All right, they seem to always do well when they play these big sides. Got a great win against Liverpool, but could they beat Brighton? Brighton are a good record against United. Could they do it? And they did it. 4-2 winners. It was a bit, you know, Brighton came back into the game a bit. You know, started to, 3-2. Was looking a little bit like it could be, you know, but United, 4-2 winners. Some great displays. A bit the opposite to Liverpool, where the new guys at Manchester United seem to be making a difference, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, we're talking about the Sunderlands and the Brentfords and the Bournemouths, and two players that sort of come from that mould are Cunha and Mbeumo. They were doing it last year at teams like that, and I think those mentality of players. I mean, if I was a recruiter, I would be looking at Sunderland players, Bournemouth players, Brentford players, that Shard up front. You know, I'd be looking at these players because they seem to come with this aura of, we know what it's like to battle. You know, you look at someone like Garnacho, he's a fair weather player. He's probably got his nice car, his nice house, everything like that. He's never had to graft. You look at Mbeumo and Cunha, last year they're grafting. They're grafting week in, week out, and they're delivering. And United have never had that. And that might be a bit of a weird thing for an Arsenal fan or a Liverpool fan, but Man United, we don't fight. We're like Spurs. We turn the light on and off when we want. The thing with people like Cunha and Mbeumo is they're grafting every minute of every game, even when you're losing, and they're making the difference. Like, there was some brilliant performances on Saturday. I mean, De Ligt was brilliant. The goalie was good again. The midfield played well, Casemiro and Bruno, and there was some good. Ahmad was good. But the difference is Cunha and Mbeumo, when you look at the goals they're bringing to the team, without those goals, where would those goals come from last year? We wouldn't have them. So they were superb. And also, as I've said to you many times before, just on Brighton, I don't rate that manager. And I thought the arrogance when it works, it's good. And in the first 10 minutes, they were passing the ball about, making chances, but it's so risky. One bad pass and you're in. And there was a point where I was like, let's boost the goal difference at 3. Now I thought we could get 5 or 6, but Man United always give your heart a little bit of a flutter. And to be fair, they made good subs and our subs didn't do that well. And Mbeumo, made it comfortable again in stoppage time. So yeah, I'd have took any win, Robbie, just to get that, to follow up Liverpool with a win, and that's 3 in a row. The way the league looks because of some of the shocks is brilliant. Realistically, I think we would have thought Chelsea would have won, maybe Liverpool, so we'd be 8th. So we're right in amongst it, and 2 big away games coming up. But there's a buzz around United at the moment. We're excited. We're realistic, but at least all the Amrim out stuff stopped, and we can just focus on the team for the next few weeks till at least Christmas. I think we can just look at it and go, yeah, there's going to be losses, but let's not draw. Let's win. Let's try and win as many as we can.
Yeah, no, it was a massive, massive win for Manchester United. A couple other results to mention. Newcastle, big win for them at home against Fulham. They've really been winning a lot of games this season, but Bruno Guimaraes with a winner there. It was a big win yesterday for Spurs, going away. Impressive win. Going away and beating Everton at their new home. Everton haven't lost there yet this season. Spurs beating them by 3 goals to 0. Bit of a rear guard action for them for a lot of the game, but they got the job done. Wolves beaten in the last minute by Burnley. What a massive win for Burnley. Burnley as well are showing a lot of fight. Wolves not. I mean, to be fair to Wolves, they were 2-0 down and showed fight to get it back to 2-2. But that was a hammer blow to lose. They've lost a couple of games now, Wolves, to teams in and around them, and that is not good. Massive win for Bournemouth. This team doing a wonderful job. 2-0 winners over Nottingham Forest. No new manager bounce for Sean Dyche. Big, big problems at Nottingham Forest. Yet another defeat for them. And on Friday night, it was a big win for Leeds, beating West Ham by 2 goals to 1. West Ham, for me, I watched a lot of all the teams this season. They look the worst team at the moment. They are playing. Their defense from set pieces is dreadful. And by the way, set pieces, as we've seen over the weekend, are major for every single team. If you can't defend them, you're going to be in big trouble in this league. And they can't defend them at all, Mark. They're shocking at doing that. Let's just take a look at the table, right? So we start at the bottom. Wolves still rock bottom, haven't won a game yet this season. West Ham just behind them. Wolves only got 2 points. West Ham on 4 points. Forest on 5 points. And just above them, Fulham, surprisingly, on 8 points. But you'd expect Fulham to pull away from that. Burnley above Fulham on 10 points. Leeds on 11. Looking good for, some of those clubs at the moment. But Nottingham Forest, West Ham and Wolves, big trouble at the moment. Got to get themselves together very, very soon. Top of the table, right? Arsenal top now on 22 points. 4 points clear of Bournemouth. Bournemouth, not some of the traditional
top
teams.
Top 4 is a madness. It's like some sort of glitch, isn't it, really?
Well, the top 4 is Arsenal on 22 points. Bournemouth second place on 18. Third place, Tottenham on 17 points. Big winners this weekend with everybody slipping up. Sunderland in the top 4 on 17. Above City in 5th place on 16. On the same points as City in 6th place are Manchester United.
And this is after 9 games. It's not like it's a first couple of games. It's 9 games. We're a quarter of the way through the season.
Yeah, and a point above Liverpool in 7th. Manchester United. This is crazy.
Why are you talking about Man United like you're shocked? What about bloody Sunderland and Bournemouth? We're not that bad, Robbie. Come on, we have got some good players.
No, Sunderland and Bournemouth. But you know what? It's the context of Manchester United being above Liverpool.
I know.
That is mad.
Especially
the
ahead
start.
in the international break. You wouldn't have thought that.
No, it's Liverpool fans will be looking at that league with horror at the moment, and obviously United. Who you guys got this weekend then?
Forest away.
Oh, you'd be right there.
Well, I think going away to a team in the bottom three, you've got to go, let's go and win. I mean, it is dangerous. You know, they won't play like Brighton and Liverpool. They will park the bus, which we won't be able to do. So we won't get as much space. And it is Daichi's first game at Forest. So it'll be difficult, but it's a different type of game. If you want to be in the top four, you've got to go and win. And you've got to go and beat the bottom three. And then we've got Spurs after that. So,
Wow.
It's all ready to go.
Great times. All right, let's get into our team of the week.
Yep.
I know we've got a lot of differences on this, so we're going to have to work it out. Let's start with the goalkeeper.
Who you got in goal? Because I haven't got a goalie. I've
got Vicario. Vicario, Tottenham. I thought he
Yeah.
played well yesterday. Clean sheet, made some good saves. So I've gone Vicario in goal.
Yeah, fine.
Back four.
I've gone Matty Cash.
Yep, got that.
Gabriel.
Oh, I didn't have Gabriel in mind. I was going to put him in, but you know what? It's almost like it was ringing in my ears last week. You keep saying about I keep putting Arsenal players in.
He did play well. He did play
He
well.
was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant yesterday, but I didn't have him in. All right.
Van der Ven.
Yep, got him.
And this player, I've talked about him a few weeks now. What a signing. Brilliant. Truffert at Bournemouth.
Okay. All right. I've got Matty Cash, like you said. I've got Rodon for Leeds, who played really well and scored. Van der Ven I've got in there. And I had to. I've sort of shoehorned him in, right? But this guy for me had to be in there. That Coyote from Brentford.
I thought he was
played
right back.
brilliantly. The long throw. He is right back. I was just trying to squeeze him in. I had to try and squeeze him in because I was. But who have you gone, Truffer?
Yeah, I mean, he is one of those, you're talking about Bournemouth there. They're second in the league. What a season. They lose people like Kerkez and Yulmlin. And not Yulmlin, the lad who went to bloody Real Madrid. And they go and get a player like that who is, I think he's probably the best left back in the league at the moment, which is just, going under the radar. Brilliant.
All right, we'll get him in. I did try to squeeze cut. I was just like, he needed an honourable mention, man. He was brilliant against Liverpool.
Well, I thought De Ligt was brilliant for Man United as well. I just couldn't put him in because others did better, but yeah.
Okay. Midfield. What's your midfield?
I got Bruno Guimaraes.
Yep.
I got Damsgaard.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of Damsgaard.
He was brilliant. And then I've just shoehorned Cunha back one because I thought he was so good. And my front three.
Get out of here with that, right? No, Cunha was brilliant. I've gone Eze, right? Because a wonderful goal. And that goal put Arsenal top of the league. I've gone Granit Xhaka, who I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, he was. I nearly put him in,
Chelsea. And I've gone Bruno Guimaraes. But you could have had Damsgaard in there. I thought he had a wonderful game against Liverpool. But those are the three I've gone for. Up front, so I had Cunha in up front.
I think you could go Cunha or Mbeumo or both. I think one of them's got to be in there, though,
Yeah, Igor Thiago is brilliant against Liverpool for Brentford. And Fleming for Burnley, he scored a couple of great... Did you see his first goal?
Brilliant.
Oh, what a goal that was.
Yeah.
Big win for them away at Wolves. So that was my front three.
The only change I had Chardin instead of Igor, but as long as you got a Brentford player, I don't think it really matters, does it?
Yeah. So that's our team of the week, people. Obviously, loads of people always disagree with our team of the week, and it's brilliant. It's always sparks a great debate. So give us your team of the week. But what an amazing weekend. A weekend where teams were stunned, and big weekend for Arsenal, big weekend for Man United, big weekend for Tottenham, big weekend for Sunderland and Bournemouth. I mean, massive, absolutely massive, and is why we love the Premier League. Just before we go, Mark, right? I want to ask you this question because it's been a big debate around. Is the Premier League getting boring because of all these long throws and teams just playing on the counter-attack? Or is it exciting that, it's a bit of a leveler?
It's a bit like fighting with one arm behind your back and being the best fighter in the world. That's what I think the Premier League is at the moment. I actually think the biggest issue we have is I think the international break. If you look at last week, people come back, they've lost the rhythm. Second week, they're good. I think that's hopefully going to get resolved next year. But the officiating, Rob, is so bad as well. Like the inconsistency on, you know, the Ahmad penalty. There was a foul on that Luke Shaw did on a Brighton goal.
Yeah.
That's just the United game. The officiating and the added minutes, and you know, even look, the long throw-ins, I don't like them. One of them, 30 seconds to take a throw-in. Like, referees should be going, like, you can do your long throw-in, but you've got like 6 seconds to do it, whatever, like that. So I think the officiating, I think the Premier League is really good. I think at the moment there's a lot of long balls, etc., because it's people will sort that out quick. But I think the Premier League, look at the league, it's a brilliant league.
On the long throws, everybody's doing it.
Yeah,
every single team from top to bottom is doing it. So does that get a bit
a time limit on it? Do you think?
Sorry.
Do you think there should be a time limit on taking them throw-ins? Because it is a bit of a piss take.
Yeah,
They're
maybe
like
a time limit.
Now.
Maybe a time limit. Somebody was saying to me over the weekend, maybe they need to limit the amount you can take per game, so that we ain't just going to get like loads of long throw, because they do create havoc. If you don't win the first ball, I think I saw an expert the other day saying that what these long throws do is that sometimes, because they don't come in with a lot of speed, you can't clear it very far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you can't get it, you can't head it away very far, so it still can bobble back to the team on the attack, and you just cause havoc. Lot different to the last few seasons where, you know, it's all been about playing out from the back, and that seems to have gone. So it's
more exciting though. I mean, it's more direct, but it is more exciting than pass.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll leave that to you guys out there. Has it got more boring, or is it better than the ticky-tacky pass that we've seen from teams like Man City over the past few seasons? Let us know in the comments. Mark, thank you very much. Of course, we'll be back on Mark's channel on Friday, as usual. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think a lot of us messed up. You know, anybody would have done over this weekend in the predictions. But I don't know, a little smile on Mark's face. Maybe he done.
I nearly had a good weekend, but to be fair, a couple of results helped you out. So, you know, but I didn't mind them. One of them was City. So I'll take that.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. And thanks to you guys. And we'll see you again on Friday.